Welcome. I'm Harmony Slater, your host of the Finding Harmony podcast. Over the past 20 years, I've taught thousands of yoga teachers and students to explore the intersection between ancient wisdom and modern everyday life, using mind-body practices to heal, awaken, and manifest their dreams from the inside out. This podcast is a sanctuary for those feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges. Are you ready to jump in and discover how these challenges aren't actually in the way, but are the way to finding harmony? Let's invite the magic back in. What if the patterns keeping you stuck weren't actually flaws or obstacles or blocks, but were just energetic imprints waiting to be recognized, maybe released? Today's guest is Britta Keller, and she has discovered something fascinating. She is a C.A.R.E energy healing practitioner whose own healing journey began when she heard Dr. Bradley Nelson describe the concept of a heart wall. We are going to go into her story because this idea of a heart wall, a collection of trapped emotions that are unconsciously blocking us from giving, but also from receiving love, changed her life. She started to immerse herself deeply in this work. She went into something called the Emotion Code, began to read it and take courses on learning how to clear her own emotional barriers. And what happened next not only transformed her relationships, but completely changed her understanding of what was possible. So, I am excited to share her story here with you, and it's going to give you some ideas about how the body isn't working against us, but how it's always communicating with us, and the difference between honoring conventional medicine and not demonizing conventional medicine, but also recognizing that there may be some deeper emotional and energetic roots contributing to your experience physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically. So this conversation is an invitation for you to become a bit more curious about your own unseen patterns, the patterns that might be shaping and shifting your life in your unconscious, behind the scenes, showing up just like destiny all around you. And also to remember that healing truly isn't about fixing what's broken. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just removing the interference that is preventing your innate wisdom from doing what it's within you to do, which is to heal the parts of you that feel disowned, that feel isolated, that feel abandoned or rejected, and to bring them back into wholeness, to bring them back into love. So let's dive in. Hi, I'm so excited you're here today because I have this beautiful soul, Britta Keller, joining me on the podcast today. How are you, Britta?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Harmony. And what a beautiful name.
Oh, thank you.
You were predestined to do this.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. My parents had a vision, even if they didn't know they had one.
Beautiful.
I'm so curious, where did you grow up? You do some interesting things, so where did you grow up and how did you grow up?
Yeah, I grew up in Germany. I grew up in a family that was pretty spiritually open. You know, it was very normal for my dad to hear messages from his guides and angels. And
wow.
He was even, using the pendulum to see what Bach remedies I might need in the week. I mean, it was like that.
What did your dad do?
He was an Air Force pilot, believe it or not, in the NATO.
Wow. But he was like really into some interesting alternative stuff.
He was very spiritual. A Pisces.
Okay.
And then my mom and I, when I was in college, we really got into Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And we did that for many years very intensely.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I came to the US for college and I stayed. And the energy healing, or what I do now, even marketing I do as well, came a little bit later, not right out of college. I meandered a little bit.
What did you take in college?
I was actually a teacher, a language
wow.
teacher. Yeah.
A language teacher. How many languages do you know?
I know a little bit of French, English, and Spanish. And of course,
and German, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So did you teach school? Did you go into that
I was meant to. And
Yeah.
then during student teaching, I was in front of a classroom and I realized I'm an incredible introvert and highly sensitive, an empath. And it was a middle school class at 4 p.m. on a Friday. And I said, I can't do this for the rest of my life.
Wow.
I actually like to be in the behind the scenes, please.
So then what did you do with your education degree?
Yeah, and then I was in higher ed in admin, international office, student offices and things like that. Yeah. Then I worked for a semester at C again. I always had a thirst for travel, different cultures, different languages. Mm-hmm. So that was the theme in my life. Also for learning these languages and teaching them it was just a desire to connect with people, really,
How did you end up in America?
The school where I live was affiliated with Penn State.
Okay.
And then I met my ex-husband there, so I stayed. I fell in love and I stayed, and And then through life, ended up in marketing, which I still do a little bit, and then also energy healing.
How is marketing for somebody who's sort of an introvert and highly sensitive?
Actually, it's great. I can really tune in what the client wants. And so I don't have to do a lot of edits.
Right. You kind of get a sense of what they're envisioning and you're able to make it come to life.
Yes.
Do you do the digital design for things, or what, how do you work that way?
Websites and social media. I have some shopping centers that do everything for blogs, whatever, SEO. Yeah. I work a little bit with AI too.
Yeah. Now I think you have to.
Everybody is, right? So a little bit of everything. Wow. The favorite part for me is the design part. Thinking about how it's going to come across and how do I catch someone's eye, or how do I tell the story in an image.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So would you say that you have a lot of visual sort of clairvoyance kind of powers? You see a lot of things visually, or you get messages visually?
Yes and no. So in the marketing world, I'm very creative and I have a huge imagination, which when you grow up, you don't know that you're different. You think it's normal. And then for example, I was training with Dolores Cannon's quantum regression technique. And I realized that some people, she was telling us in the training, cannot imagine a blue bird. So when you come upon people who you're trying to hypnotize, you have to realize that some people cannot imagine a blue bird when you ask them to. So I find it very interesting how different we're all wired. But definitely, and then very intuitive when it comes to energy healing. Once I do it over the phone and I'm laying down, even though it's Zoom, but the client and I were just both very still, and then it's just the knowing. I don't see words necessarily, it's just the knowing I have.
Interesting. I'm always curious, people who are very visual, artists or designers, or who really have this very active, creative imagination, if they're more attuned to kind of getting images come up for them. But it sounds like you have more like a claircognizance, a deep knowing that shows
Yes, a deep knowing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating to hear how different people receive messages and intuitions about things.
Yes, very different. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so you're in marketing, living your life in America. How did you start to see that you were attuned energetically and get interested in learning about energy healing and energy work?
Yeah, so I grew up always thinking that this is something I do for fun on the side, and this is my work where I get my paycheck, and it was very instilled in me. I didn't have really a mentor or someone in my life where it melded together.
Yeah.
So I was still kind of really there, but I thought I can do this on the side. But it was actually less strategic, honestly. It was one fine morning. I was getting ready for work.
Yeah.
And I always listen to one podcast while getting ready. And this one, about 8 years ago, was Dr. Bradley Nelson promoting his new book, The Emotion Code.
Yeah.
And he talked about a heart wall. And he described that most adults have it, and that we use energy and trapped emotions to build it. And he compared it to living in a bunker. So you live, for the rest of your life, there's a threat. You build a bunker, you go in there, and then you live through this muted veil of not fully living life and not fully connecting authentically with people. There's literally a filter. So, and this was me, where the past 10 years I had been basically single. And everyone thought, why? And even me, why? It was even to the point where it was, nobody was ever good enough. But that is also a trauma response. You know, it's pushing people away. Yeah. And then I was hooked. He had a free audiobook. I listened to the book the same day.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, I had scheduled 3 emotion code sessions.
Wow.
I had my first one that Wednesday, so that was a Monday. On Wednesday, I had my heart wall removed. And the first time I left my house, I met somebody.
Really?
Yeah. Was he the one beyond? No. But the pattern was broken. This kind of pattern of me holding back or having, it's literally like you have a post-it note on your forehead that says, I'm not available. Yeah. I'm not available to date or to love or to see. So that was not there anymore. And after that, it was a very free experience, very different.
Yeah, wow, that sounds incredible. So you booked in for yourself 3 sessions in one day?
No, it was a packet of 3. I know.
Okay, a package of 3.
Even after the first one, it was just a 30-minute session. And all we did is clear a heart wall. I met someone the first time I left my house.
Wow. Okay, so how does this emotion code work? How did you clear your heart wall? I'm sure there's a lot of lonely people listening who want to know.
Yeah. So basically, on the premise of Dr. Bradley Nelson, we have what is called trapped emotions in our body. They're the size of a grapefruit. They're energy balls, the size of a grapefruit. And it's also on the premise that we're 99.9% energy. I know we feel very material. The table feels very much like matter. But if you look at atoms, they're 99.9% energy. Yeah. So you just have to change your mind a little bit about that. And it goes along with energy healing. And then, so you have these trapped emotions. And then with a way of muscle testing, which is a kinesthetic testing, I do it with my hand like this. And I press this, with the middle finger, I press this index finger down. Yeah. If it's a yes, I can't push it down. If it is a no, it gets very weak, like this.
Do you do it on your dominant hand or your non-dominant hand?
Yes, on the dominant. And I do it very fast. It's like, so I ask yes/no questions, like Morse code. Yeah.
And you just keep testing.
Yeah, like that.
That's so cool.
It's very cool. And literally, it is, I'm into languages. So that is how the body, I found a way with this to talk to my body and to other people's body. Yeah. So you might say, how come I can over the phone connect with someone who's half across the world? Well, as soon as I make the intention to run somebody's energy, I'm running their energy. So I make statements in the I. I yawn their energy out even though it's them yawning. So I'm totally connected to them. And I muscle test on myself.
Yeah.
It's called by proxy. So then you ask, do I have a heart wall? Yes. And then there's a table with 16 negative emotions. So the subconscious is like a supercomputer. It is actually very organized. And it always knows the fastest way for balance and healing. Then when you're on the topic of heart wall, it will give you ask left, right, even, odd, and you find that emotion, let's say it's heartache or fear, that is one of the emotions with which your body built that wall. And one by one you release.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
and as you release, I mean, I yawn a lot, so there is a physical release often.
Yeah,
A
which can happen
visceral.
like in yawning or sometimes coughing, right?
Yeah, it can get stuck. Sometimes I feel it got stuck instead of released, so I have to quickly release it. I mean, you can feel it.
Yeah.
Even the yawn, it is very ferocious, you know. It's the kind of yawn where you have to get teary-eyed or, you know, it's a very deep yawn.
Yeah, I was wondering too, like sometimes like with the physiological tears, if that's like another way that you find releasing can happen.
I've cried with so many clients also because in that moment when some of them have deep trauma, and then when you are running the energy, you don't know anymore who is who and where the boundary ends. It's a very beautiful symbiotic moment, you know, where you're really feeling everything.
So you really like, it sounds like, let your kind of like your own boundary around your own energetic field. You really soften that boundary so that you can feel and let other people's energetic kind of state into your energetic state.
Yes, and that was actually a huge lesson for me.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, I didn't make the intention to protect my energy. And I kept every negative energy I took from all my clients over the years. I think this went on 3-4 years. So innocent. This is very toxic energy. This is very, very toxic, what gets released. And I got so ill, in so much pain, everywhere in my body, so inflamed that even if you kind of touch me like this, it was like I was punched. Even moving in my bed at night. So I learned the very hard way, and I have not had that since, to protect myself. So I make an intention that I'm not holding on to anything, that everything we release gets transmuted into Mother Earth with love. Yeah, it's very important.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it sounds very important. I think there's a lot of healers because, you know, we're empathetic and compassionate, can kind of get confused a little bit about what's theirs and what's not theirs. And like you say, hold on to other people's energies that aren't beneficial.
It was a huge lesson for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, is there any like practices that you do around sort of like preparing yourself or clearing the space before or after you do a session with someone?
Absolutely. 15 minutes before, I kind of tune in, let the chatter go, make my intentions.
Yeah.
Sometimes I pull cards. I love pulling cards. Or I will check already. I have a lot of tables. It's like, again, a supercomputer. It can be so vast. And to really use the hour, I sometimes poke around a little bit to see where we might focus on, because it's so vast, the options that we have. So yes, that's part of that, definitely.
Okay. And these tables come from the emotion code? Like, is it part of your training?
Yes, it's an app that he provides.
Yeah.
It maps out every bit of the human body that you can imagine, as well as also the energy bodies.
Wow.
So chakras, spirit body, aura, meridians. Yeah, it goes very detailed. I also have a little anatomy kind of Bible, because sometimes I'm more going into quantum healing than I might not know where this organ is, or so it can get very specific.
Okay, wow. And what kind of problems do people come to you, like looking for healing from?
Yeah, a lot of people are looking for love, which that is one of my favorite things to do. I've got people together who are now married or very long term, or some people that met someone the same day. Does it always is the happily ever after? Then, you know, the real work begins, and maybe, just like for me, the first one after the heart wall was not my soulmate yet, you know, so you don't know where in the stage. But at least you're opening and moving the energy a little bit, you know?
Yeah, so like the first person you met right away after the heart wall came down was like, just like to let you know what was possible, that there was love possible or attraction possible, but it wasn't your soulmate.
Yes, it's absolutely that.
Yeah, sometimes we have to kind of get prepared before we meet like someone that's a true sort of partner in life.
And that is the work. So literally, with all the work that I've been doing, what I see is unworthiness is the biggest one that is holding us back. If we could infiltrate everyone, give everyone a booster with worthiness, the world would be such a different place. So that is exactly what we do in a session when people find love, is to first release any of the fears and blocks and beliefs. Some people say, I live in a small town, I know everybody, so how am I going to meet someone new? Yeah. Or it could be some fear of meeting the same bad one that I had in the past. So just creating a clean slate, literally, the first thing. And then the second part of that is I ask them to make a list of everything they want in a partner. And then we go line by line and make a statement, take the future and bring it into the present and say, the partner who's already here is fill in the blank. And then the subconscious might say, no, that's not true. Then we clear all associated imbalances and root causes until that statement is true. And we go line by line.
Wow. So you're like kind of going through every misperception or misbelief or judgment.
That's it.
Wow.
That's
and
it.
Rewiring them, it sounds like, in the mind and in the body too.
That's it. Changing the belief, changing the mind. It's a rewiring. That's literally what it is.
Yeah. But do you think that these, when we talk about the emotions, you said like we're holding these sort of like grapefruit side emotions in our body or in our energy field, I would assume, is also a possibility.
Yeah. That can be anywhere.
Yeah. Would you think that as you rewire the thoughts, you're also like recoding your body or like somehow releasing these things?
That's exactly it. You nailed it, yes. Yeah. So we come with these emotional baggage, which we all have. And then the body, let's say, you can't just say, I want to release all trapped emotions I have. It's so vast that the body wouldn't know what to do. But you come in, with a specific topic. You say, I would like to meet someone, my soulmate. And I always say, you don't want to meet someone when you're on the first floor or second floor. You want to meet them when you're in the penthouse. So we're moving up the vibrational scale to the penthouse. And when you're in the penthouse, then you can meet someone. So that's what we're doing. We're raising the vibration by releasing these trapped emotions with regard, specifically that topic. Now that we're talking about love, it would be that topic of the beliefs about love. And there's a body code and there's a belief code. Literally, we release belief systems with that. And it could be like, I'm never lucky in love, they're going to hurt me, I'm not good enough, or whatever the belief over time that we picked up along the way. We need to
or even the fears, like I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life, can create that situation because you're thinking about it, or it's a fear that you're like not bringing into your conscious awareness, or you're not rewriting, or you're not questioning, you're not doing that work of recoding the fear. So it's no longer a fear.
Exactly. It's the self-fulfilling prophecy, or it's the self-sabotage. You wouldn't believe how much self-sabotage happens on a very subconscious level.
I might.
Oh, me too.
What is the difference, like, I guess, like, between using this work for love or for quantum healing? Is there a difference in the approach? Or are they two different things?
Yes, very different. I mean, not very different. It's just part of how I have evolved for me. And I have a really nice mentor, Jamie Butler. I'm part of her monthly membership. And I took a quantum healing course with her, and she kind of opened that gate for me. So where you literally take the holographic body and you sense where there might be a tear in the spirit membrane. And when you have a tear or hole in your spirit membrane, it leaks energy, and it is really the root cause of many imbalances and diseases in your physical body. So you go to the very root, and I approach it. Once I know there is one, then often it goes so deep as even a soul fragment. So you ask, I have a list of over 160 reasons for the soul fragment, and it can be bullying, it can be divorce, loss of a loved one, being ostracized. It can be past life things like a vow for celibacy or a vow for poverty that transcends over lifetimes. So if you have that, you never know why you cannot make the money that you feel like, yes, I deserve. Or meet the mate, or how we were killed. They can also lead to soul fragments. So what we do with this quantum healing work, we first see if there's a tear, and then we see, is there a soul fragment somehow related to this? And it's between 1 to 4. And then we release what is associated with it. Let's say it's bullying in high school. Then we release all the trapped emotions, imbalances. Once that's done, we ask, can we now call it back with safety? And then I do quantum healing where we literally call it back. It's very beautiful work, very deep.
So what I'm hearing, how do you sense if there's like a hole in someone's energy field?
Now I still rely on muscle testing.
Okay.
But I'm noticing how I'm slowly shifting more into, that is like a crutch. I look at it like a crutch, if you will.
Yeah.
Confirmation, And this will morph soon into more receiving that information in a different way. But right now, I muscle test.
Okay. And then how would you know where the hole is?
Because then I ask, and I sense, and I ask.
Wow.
So sometimes I know where it is. And sometimes, because I have the anatomy book right here, or Dr. Bradley Nelson's body code, which maps out everything, I can very quickly find out where it is.
And so if someone, say, has a hole somewhere in their energy field, and it's because they took a vow of poverty in their past life, then how does that show up in this life? They have trouble making money, or they have trouble, like they're always losing money, or they're working hard but not getting paid. Like
that's it.
Like all those ways.
All those above. And I want to be clear that just having a vow is, I would say, for a tarot hole, just having a vow is probably not the main cause. It would be more how someone passed in a past life, I mean, if you had a dagger in your back, it's probably where more of the holes come from, or a severe loss, where you saw loved ones getting killed in front of you, or trauma, any kind of trauma. It can be this lifetime or past life. And in past life, often, in my case, it was, I had a sword right here. And I was still a little bit peeved about that. So, slowly kind of making peace with that and releasing the trauma that is, we do get, interestingly, there's inherited emotions, inherited disease. There are imprints of energy that get imprinted as we are born and conceived. So it's not just this lifetime, we're also imprinted from our parents, and we're imprinted from our ancestors.
Yeah, it's interesting when you really kind of start getting down that road.
Crazy. We're dealing with so much.
Yeah, it can be a little overwhelming at times.
Totally.
What's your favorite part about this work that you're doing? If someone comes to work with you, how would you decide whether you were going to do the emotion codes, and I'm assuming the motion codes and the body codes all kind of go together, or do quantum healing, or are you making a fusion of these things together?
Yeah, that is part of my personal development as a healer and practitioner, is exactly that. It's not only emotion, body, and belief code, but it's morphing into my bespoke way. And I have literally a list that I muscle test of, it starts with emotion, body, belief code, then it's soul fragment, hole in the membrane, but then it's also what I call the bucket work, where when there's trauma around a certain topic, let's say an abusive relationship or a loss of a loved one, whatever it is, the trauma of that, we throw everything in a bucket, and I ask them to imagine the color and what the bucket looks like. And I give them some time to also, if they don't want to share everything, to throw it in there quietly. I measure the emotional and physical pain of the bucket between 0 and 10, 10 being mostly where people have a hard time talking because they're crying. And I measure it, so let's say it's a 7 out of 10. And then by the end of the session, we're going to have released everything. It's going to be 0. And the side effect of that, they feel lighter, a little drowsy, a little, not drowsy in a, just kind of disconnected. They know it happened, it's just a fact, but they're not emotionally connected to it in such a way anymore. And that is the work, that is that deep work of literally the soul the subconscious clearing of some of the trauma that we carry.
Wow.
And then what I love is then you can work on just immune system, or you can work on, if people are struggling with autoimmune, you want to make sure that all those organs and the mitochondria and all this, you want to detoxify them. You want to make sure to go all the protocols with that. I even love working with genes. I clean up my genes all the time. Yeah. There's a book, it's called Dirty Genes. It's written by a doctor, and he really has the top 7 that like to get dirty.
That sounds amazing. Dirty genes.
I know, dirty genes. And so you want to clean them up and also do the same process. Release anything that is root cause and associated, and then they're clean, because they can cause havoc in your sleep cycle and hormone balance and all that. So you want to keep your genes clean.
That sounds also like a very interesting book. He tells you how to clean them in the book? Or
No,
not really?
I just ran with it. He just pointed it out. All roads lead to Rome, I always say that, right?
Yeah.
This is my approach. I like to do it with energy. He does it with clean eating. And that is also a way. That is also a way.
Yeah.
But it's my way is that, so it's just a different way. It works the same way.
Yeah. So you're kind of like scanning the body and the energetic field, and for like the emotional blockages that are like polluting the genes or creating these
I have
blockages.
a list of the major, I ask let's say someone has problems with hormones or sleep or whatever, and then based on that, or digestion, I pick out the genes that are mostly responsible for that. And then we clear them one by one to make sure that it's like a meridian. Energy wants to flow, right?
Yeah.
These genes, the only reason why they're dirty is because then the energy doesn't flow. We're just releasing the blocks that makes the energy stagnant, that then leads to imbalance in the body.
What I find so interesting is in yoga philosophy, they talk about like why Kundalini is an awakening, and that you have to like purify or clear all the nadis, which are the energy channels in the body. So like people who are very into yoga try to eat clean food, they're doing all their yoga asanas, their exercises, even through pranayama or mantra, all of these mantras, vibration, frequency. But I think sometimes we get caught up in the practices of yoga that we're doing, and we forget that it's actually all about creating those clear energetic channels in the body so that prana can flow smoothly, so that the Kundalini, which is a special type of prana in the body, this pure consciousness can come up and rise up, and you can be connected to it. And you can't actually be connected to it when the energy channels, the meridians, are like congested, I'll say.
That's it.
So, this energy work's so important. And we forget, we think, okay, how do energy channels get congested? And what I love about what you're saying is that, they get congested. Like, sure, there's physical things that can be cleared up through food or toxicity in our environment, but also emotions, misperceptions or misbeliefs, actual physical kind of problems that are our body sort of like malfunctioning a little bit, maybe not malfunctioning, but trying to overcompensate for other things. Are there any other ways that I'm missing here that maybe our energetic channels can get clogged?
Yeah. So per Dr. Bradley Nelson, also there's Soul Speak and Louisa Hay's body of work. Soul Speak is Julia Cannon's work, where literally her mom did so many past life regressions by just writing down each past life regression and the imbalances that there were. And she mapped it out in a way that the body is a supercomputer. Nothing is random. It says, okay, heartache, I'm going to put that in the lungs. Stress, I'm going to give you an ulcer in the stomach. I'm angry, I'm going to make my liver cry out. So it's very systematic. It's not random, and that is such a beautiful thing to behold as you're working with the subconscious, that there's a flow and a reasoning and a system that it doesn't make it woo-woo. It makes it very soothing because it's not random. There's a system to it. And that's maybe one of the biggest misconceptions, right? Is that it's all woo-woo and esoteric and random. It's not. The body is very precise. And what you were saying, to add onto that list, you were saying we can do it with yoga, We can do it with energy healing to clean all these pathways in energy. Also, toxins can also, there's a lot of environmental toxins. As part of Body Code, I release a lot of even, vaccines, over-the-counter medicine, caffeine, fumes from the rug, from the wall, EMF, a little bit radioactivity. There's a little arsenic in our water, microplastics. We are being bombarded, so that as we are getting more clogged up, or let's say there was where our body was, either it's in parasympathetic state or it's in fight or flight. So in fight or flight, everything just, all these systems that you were talking about, it gave me goosebumps when you was talking about the pathways in Kundalini and the energies. When there's a block, it just gets clogged more and more and more until there's an outburst, right? And as you keep that clean, even the toxins, you can release them and just, the body knows what to do with them. It will get rid of them, but when we're in stress, which we mostly are, in fight or flight, these processes don't work in the same way. So really our goal is to always make sure we're in the parasympathetic state. So then the body knows what to do. And that is, yoga does that as well, right? It puts you in that state to
rest and digest and restore.
Yes, rest, digest, and restore, right? The body can heal itself.
Yeah, the body wants to heal itself. It's trying so hard. We just keep making it harder for it.
Exactly.
I think, too, sometimes we over-exercise or we kind of use our body in a way or put it through these great challenges, which can be fun and adventurous, but we also have to create balance on the other side too.
I see that so often with yoga or anything in the gym where it gets a little bit distorted, and that the body doesn't need to run a marathon. Actually, even a brisk walk, they say, even studies show this, for 20 minutes will balance things out.
Yeah, walking, it's such a balancing thing to do for like our body, physiologically, our mind, our emotions. There's so much interesting science about even just seeing things passing you by balances your subconscious mind to help you feel like you're making progress in life and moving forward. And
absolutely.
It's really, I think walking so amazing. It's something we do all the time, but not consciously. Kind of like breathing. I think breathing's so amazing too.
We need to breathe more. We need to walk more.
Yeah. It's like the simple things, right? Sometimes I think we make it so complicated. And when you really get the message, your body's actually trying to help you. It's actually trying to heal. Then you can appreciate the simplicity of it and use those things a bit more than trying to make it so complicated all the time.
Yeah. That's one of my mottos, it's the simple things that are often not so juicy, are usually probably what is very good for us.
Yeah, like the ego loves the things that are complicated or hard or challenging, and it's like, okay, I mean, it's good for the ego, but not necessarily great for the body.
It's about worthiness, right?
Yeah.
So we feel like when we run the marathon or I mount Everest, oh, now I'm worthy. Now I'm worthy. But it's never really fills the cup, right? Because then, I need to peak another mountain and I need to... So it's always this filling the cup from the sense of lack and unworthiness that it's never enough.
Yeah. I think that's really important. I'm just going to highlight it again because it's so important. Because really, it isn't like necessarily even the running of the marathon. If you're running the marathon from a place of worthiness, then you're probably doing it in a way that feels a bit more balanced.
Totally.
But if you're doing it from that place of trying to feel like you're enough or trying to prove something to yourself or to others, then it's, like you say, it's like trying to feed a hungry ghost, and it's not ever going to be enough. You're just going to then need to do the ultra marathon.
It never ends.
Yeah. And it's that way with everything too, right? It's not just like physical activity. It can be that way with like success in business or, relationships or whatever, right?
Yeah, everything. If we all felt worthy, we would do a whole bunch less.
Yeah, it's true. And our planet would heal.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's been so beautiful to speak with you today, Britta. Tell everyone where they can find you if they want to reach out and have a session, quantum healing, and understand more about the body codes and the emotion codes and the energy codes. Where can they connect with you?
Yeah, so my website is energyhealing.care. It's C-A-R-E, it's not .com. So that's a little bit unusual. Also, there are a lot of free resources. If you want to learn muscle testing, go on YouTube, check it out. There are a lot of videos on that. You can talk to your body. Yeah. And also, Dr. Bradley Nelson has a website. It's called discoverhealing.com. Okay. And he also has a free, I think, emotion code starter kit.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
There's a lot of resources.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check this out. It sounds right up my alley of things that I like to read about. Beautiful. Thank you so much. It was so lovely to hear how your path has evolved and the work that you're doing now, and to learn more about like the emotions and how they get stuck in the body and clearing these energy channels, and just some of this, I think, talking about energy and our energetic field and how it interfaces with our body is kind of new, but also very old. And I feel like it's also where we're going as a human collective. We're all just getting much more attuned to frequency. And maybe it's just the world I live in and my algorithm, but it seems like that's more and more people are talking about it and experiencing it too. So it's pretty, I think, powerful, this work that you're doing in the world. And I hope that a lot of people come and check you out.
Yeah, Harmony, I'm back at you. Thank you for providing the space, for letting us talk about this and making it less esoteric, more normal. And you're doing beautiful work with that. So thank you for giving us all an opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. As many of you know, I have been on a very deep, deep healing journey over the last 6 years, gently collecting and gathering all of the wounded, abandoned, and forgotten parts of myself and inviting them back into wholeness, back into coherence. And it hasn't just been one modality or one breakthrough moment, but it's been really, truly weaving together many different threads that include yoga, that include pranayama and meditation, those practices that sustained me for over 2 decades, but also some new tools like somatic awareness, emotional presencing, somatic coaching, embodiment practices, journaling, visualization, holotropic breath work, energy work, including spinal energetics and genius frequency, learning ways to develop my intuition, to listen more deeply, more clearly, deep nervous system healing, psychedelic exploration, including microdosing, philosophy, and all kinds of listening and learning from different wisdom teachers, and truly recognizing that we all are wisdom teachers. And the best teacher for you is your own body, your own history, your own psyche, because you came to this earth with a curriculum that's all your own. And so what I have been discovering is my own curriculum of healing, and really looking at the hidden, the silence, the pushed away parts of myself that didn't feel safe to be seen, but would sabotage or work in the background. And so because this work has been so powerful for me in my experience, and the years of coaching, facilitation that I've been doing has been profoundly healing for the clients that I work with. I'm opening up a very intimate space for a small group of people to join me, as well as 3 other facilitators, somatic practitioners, and body talk practitioners, and art therapists, including our very own Russell Case. This is a retreat that is designed to support you on every level of yourself. And we will be integrating many of these profound tools. There will be some preparation work before, some deep experience work during, and then thoughtful integration afterwards. So it's in-person retreat, but also some online pre-work and post-integration. And so if you've been sensing that you're ready for something deeper, more powerful, something that truly can shift the trajectory of your life, then I really invite you to trust that feeling and send me a DM on Instagram at Harmony Slater Official. Because healing, true healing, doesn't have to take decades, and it doesn't have to be hard in the sense of you're working so hard every day for hours every day at it. Sometimes when the right people and practices come together, all in support of your transformation, and you come in with that intention, it can happen very quickly, and it can be better than you ever imagined possible. So if this all resonates with you, please reach out. I would love to explore whether this experience is meant for you. And until next time, be gentle with yourself, love yourself, and remember that the journey back to wholeness is worth every step.
That's it. We've concluded another episode of the Finding Harmony podcast. I just want to thank you so much for doing the work that changes the world, starting with yourself. It truly does make a huge difference. Please make sure you have your automatic downloads turned on wherever you listen so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. I have so much more magic I can't wait to share with you. Lastly, if you're on Instagram, I love connecting and hearing from you. So come on over and say hello at Finding Harmony Podcast. And you can also come say hello to me personally at Harmony Slater Official. Thank you again for being here. I cannot wait to share more with you in our next episode.